Good afternoon. My name is Liam Godkin, and today I'll be talking through why we should standardize audio plugin development to increase their reusability between different digital audio workspaces. In this talk, I'll be going through our current operation, how we currently use digital audio workspaces, how the plugins play into that, and then I'll be going into the different types of plugin compatibility between the different major DAWs that are out there in the market right now. And then I'll be going into the standardizations that some of those plugins use it, and the major ones and any kind of smaller ones. And then I'll be going into some possible avenues to standardize them even further, which is through mandation. And then I'll be talking about the manufacturers for the DAWs since this largely impacts them. Our current operation that we work by today, we have multiple different types of DAWs. They are FL Studio, Ableton, Logic Pro, a bunch of others, and they're all for different operating systems. FL Studio can work, I believe, on all three of them. Logic Pro is specifically a Mac OS digital audio workspace, and Ableton it also works on either Linux, Windows, or Mac OS. All of these utilize different plugins, aside from a few. They all have different features, and the plugins they allow the digital audio workspaces to kind of manufacture the audio differently by adding either equalizers, de-essers, or any sort of compressor that the user wants. And the way that users get these is by downloading them either for free from a open source one off of GitHub, or they have to pay for some plugins that other manufacturers make specifically for other manufacturers' DAWs. And unless they choose to standardize them and make them work with multiple different DAWs, that's completely up to that manufacturer who made the plugin. The current standards that we work off of have these kind of plugin compatibilities. As you can see, FL Studio works on PC and Mac, and it mostly uses VST 2 and 3, but it also allows AU, which is audio unit, on the 64-bit. Ableton Live does largely the same, and Logic Pro is where it really moves down to one specific one where it only uses the audio unit, which is a Mac-based plugin standard. And anything further goes even less down into VST2 only. And as you can see, the 32-bit, they also get a little bottlenecked when it comes to what type of plugins they can use. And so going back in versions on FL Studio, Ableton, you tend to have a lot of issues with plugin compatibility just simply due to not much of the standards being really supported unless it was specifically from those manufacturers themselves that manufactured it. The standards we have, as you read before, the big ones are VST3, which is the current 64-bit leader. It designs to work on Windows, Mac, and Linux. And through that, the manufacturer who makes a plugin can kind of standardize it towards one of them. Unless they truly try to, it doesn't immediately work on all three. It just can work on all three if you design it to. The audio unit only works on Mac, largely simply because the Mac OS has a special audio core that allows it to get lower latency audio, and only that system can use it. They can be used on a Windows device, but it doesn't get the same amount of usability that the audio unit typically does on a Mac device. Which those are the three standards that we typically go through. There's a couple of other ones like AAX, and there's also VST2, which is because VST3 was not backwards compatible. They're different types. There's a couple ways we can go through to standardize these, though, and that is one through government mandation. Just like the USB mandate happened recently, we can use it kind of as a framework where we make a mandation that says that all devices or all plugins need to use one of these standards, and choosing one would be the hard part. The easier one would actually just be making VST3 be able to work with the audio core, so there wouldn't be a need for audio unit anymore. But it's probably not likely because programmers dislike mandation as much as most people do. Any sort of restriction on their programming they don't typically like. And musicians aren't one for restrictions either. They're actually even less against that. The largest issue with this is the manufacturers. Platformization and standardizations battle constantly for the manufacturers. They want every plugin to be specifically made for their platform, since then they can get a bigger market share of how many users want to come and use their digital audio workspaces. Most of these are either a one-time purchase, so getting that one-time purchase is pretty big for the manufacturers, and they're the ones with the most say in all this. So despite it being a consumer benefit in pretty much the entire way, these standardizations most likely won't get out the door. And yeah,